In a world where millions of refugees are forced to flee their homes, the power of education becomes the key to unlocking a brighter future. Cristiano Ronaldo, a global icon, is taking a monumental step to help young refugees rebuild their lives by launching a global education fund designed to offer hope, opportunity, and a path to success for displaced youth around the world. This is more than just a mission, it's a lifeline for those who need it most. One of the primary components of Cristiano Ronaldo's Global Education Fund for Refugees is the provision of scholarships to displaced students. Refugees often face significant barriers to accessing education, including financial constraints, a lack of proper documentation, and limited opportunities within their host countries. For many young refugees, attending school or pursuing higher education seems like an impossible dream. Ronaldo's fund aims to break down these barriers by offering scholarships that cover tuition fees, accommodation, transportation, and other essential expenses. These scholarships will target students who are currently living in refugee camps or have been relocated to countries that may not have the resources to support their education. By removing the financial burden of education, the fund will empower these young individuals to continue their studies without the worry of survival taking precedence over learning. The scholarships will not only support primary and secondary education but also extend to higher education institutions, including universities and vocational training programs. This allows refugee students to pursue a broad range of academic and career aspirations, from engineering and medicine to the arts and business. In addition to financial support, the scholarships will often be paired with mentorship and counseling to help students navigate the challenges of adjusting to new educational systems, languages, and cultures. The scholarship recipients will also be part of a global network that connects them with peers and professionals who can offer guidance and open doors for future career opportunities. Through these scholarships, Ronaldo is offering displaced youth the opportunity to shape their own futures, despite the hardships they have faced due to displacement. In the long run, these scholarships aim to create a ripple effect. As these students graduate and find success in their chosen fields, they will be better equipped to contribute to their communities, economies, and societies. Whether they return to their home countries or continue to live in their host nations, these educated individuals will have the potential to become leaders, innovators, and advocates for positive change, further amplifying the impact of the Global Education Fund for Refugees. A critical part of Ronaldo's Global Education Fund for Refugees is the provision of educational materials and resources. Refugee children often face significant hurdles when it comes to accessing basic learning tools. In many refugee camps, schools are overcrowded, underfunded, and lacking in essential resources like textbooks, stationery, and technological support. Without these critical materials, students are limited in their ability to engage fully with their education, which can lead to gaps in learning and hinder their academic progress. The fund will ensure that textbooks, notebooks, writing materials, and art supplies are made available to refugee students, making it easier for them to participate in lessons, complete assignments, and improve their skills. For older students, especially those in high school or seeking to pursue higher education, access to subject-specific resources and academic reference materials will be essential. Providing these materials will not only help students meet educational standards, but also improve their overall learning experience, offering them the tools they need to excel. Furthermore, the fund will focus on technology and digital learning tools, which are crucial in today's education landscape. Refugees in remote or conflict-affected areas often have limited or no access to computers, internet, or other technological resources that are essential for modern learning. Through the initiative, the fund will provide laptops, tablets, and computers to schools and learning centers, giving students access to a wealth of online resources, ebooks, and educational platforms. In particular, the importance of online learning tools cannot be overstated. Refugees may face geographic isolation or restrictions that make attending a traditional school difficult, so access to online classes, virtual tutoring, and learning management systems will allow them to continue their education even when they are unable to attend in-person classes. In addition to individual learning tools, the fund will work to equip classrooms and learning centers in refugee camps with the necessary infrastructure. This might include setting up Wi-Fi networks, providing interactive whiteboards, and ensuring that schools have sufficient resources to support both traditional and digital forms of education. For example, in places where literacy rates may be low, audiovisual aids and interactive learning programs could help students engage with content in a more accessible way. These resources will significantly enhance the educational experience of refugee students, making learning more dynamic, effective, and inclusive. By investing in both physical and digital materials, Ronaldo's fund aims to create an environment where every student, regardless of their background or current situation, can thrive and reach their full potential. In a world increasingly shaped by technology, providing these resources is an essential step in giving refugee students the opportunities they deserve to succeed academically and build brighter futures. A vital aspect of the Global Education Fund for Refugees is its commitment to teacher training. While providing access to education materials and scholarships is crucial, none of these resources will be effective without qualified and well-trained educators. In refugee settings, where schools are often overcrowded, under-resourced, and situated in unstable environments, teachers frequently face unique challenges. These include large class sizes, diverse student backgrounds, trauma-related issues, and limited teaching support. To address these challenges and ensure that refugee children receive a high-quality education, the fund will focus on equipping teachers with the skills and knowledge they need to provide the best possible education under these difficult circumstances. The first step in this teacher training initiative will involve offering professional development programs specifically designed for teachers working in refugee communities. These programs will focus on several key areas. One major focus will be trauma-informed teaching practices. Many refugee students have experienced profound trauma, whether from war, violence, or displacement, and understanding how to support their emotional and psychological well-being is essential for effective teaching. Teachers will be trained in recognizing signs of trauma and in creating a classroom environment that is safe, supportive, and conducive to learning. Additionally, the training programs will emphasize inclusive education techniques. Refugee classrooms are often highly diverse, with students from different cultures, speaking different languages, and having varying educational backgrounds. Teachers will receive training in how to manage multilingual classrooms, adapt to different learning needs, and incorporate culturally relevant content into lessons. Differentiated instruction strategies will be a key component of this training, ensuring that teachers can provide tailored support for students who may be at different educational levels or who have specific learning disabilities. Another critical aspect of the training will focus on teaching with limited resources. In many refugee camps and remote areas, schools may not have access to traditional teaching materials like textbooks, chalkboards, or sufficient classroom space. Teachers will be trained to be resourceful, using inexpensive or recycled materials to create engaging lessons. Additionally, digital literacy will be a key area of focus. Teachers will be trained to integrate technology into their lessons, even in settings with limited internet access. This can include using offline digital tools, educational apps, and multimedia resources to enhance the learning experience. The fund will also provide ongoing support through peer networks and mentorship programs for teachers. Educators working in refugee settings often experience isolation and burnout due to the high stress of their work. By connecting teachers through professional networks, the fund can help create a supportive community where teachers can share experiences, strategies, and resources. This will also allow for ongoing professional development and access to educational materials that can help teachers stay up to date with best practices. Ultimately, the goal of the teacher training program is to ensure that refugee children receive an education that is not only accessible, but also of high quality. Teachers who are well-trained in trauma-informed care, inclusive education, and resourceful teaching methods will be better equipped to help their students succeed academically, emotionally, and socially. With these skills, teachers can transform their classrooms into spaces where refugee children can learn, heal, and build brighter futures, regardless of the challenges they may face. A crucial aspect of the Global Education Fund for Refugees is its partnerships with international organizations, NGOs, and educational institutions. Recognizing that the scale of the refugee crisis is vast and complex, Ronaldo's fund cannot achieve its goals alone. To make a meaningful and sustainable impact, it requires collaboration with established organizations and institutions that already have deep expertise, networks, and infrastructure in the field of refugee education. By forming strategic partnerships, the fund can ensure that its initiatives reach as many refugees as possible and are implemented effectively. The fund will work closely with international organizations such as the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, UNICEF, and other global bodies that specialize in providing humanitarian aid and education to displaced populations. These organizations have a proven track record in addressing the needs of refugees, and their experience in navigating the complex legal, logistical, and security challenges of refugee education will be invaluable. Through these partnerships, the fund will be able to identify priority areas for intervention, ensuring that resources are directed where they are most needed, whether in camps, urban refugee settlements, or areas with a significant refugee population. In addition to large international organizations, the fund will also collaborate with a wide range of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, that focus specifically on refugee education and empowerment. Many of these NGOs have already established schools, training centers, and educational programs for refugees in countries like Lebanon, Jordan, Kenya, and Greece. By partnering with these organizations, Ronaldo's fund can help scale up existing efforts, provide additional funding, and bring attention to successful programs that can be replicated in other regions. NGOs on the ground often have the local knowledge and cultural understanding necessary to design programs that are sensitive to the unique needs of different refugee populations, from language barriers to gender inequality. These partnerships will help ensure that the education provided is not only accessible, but also appropriate and inclusive. The involvement of educational institutions, including universities and colleges, will also play a key role in the fund's success. Higher education institutions, both in refugee hosting countries and in other parts of the world, can offer scholarships, educational opportunities, and specialized training programs for refugees. By working with these institutions, the fund can create pathways for refugee students to transition from primary and secondary education into higher education and vocational training. These partnerships will help bridge the gap between basic education and professional opportunities, providing refugees with the skills they need to rebuild their lives and contribute meaningfully to their communities. Additionally, the fund will engage with private sector partners, such as technology companies and educational platforms, to help bridge the digital divide for refugee students. Companies specializing in educational technology can provide online learning platforms, digital textbooks, and virtual classroom tools that will enhance access to education, particularly for refugees who may be geographically isolated or facing security risks in their home countries. These private sector collaborations will also be crucial in providing innovative solutions for distance learning, helping students continue their education despite the physical barriers imposed by displacement. Through these partnerships, the Global Education Fund for Refugees can tap into a broad range of resources, expertise, and networks, ensuring that its efforts are not only effective but sustainable. By joining forces with organizations and institutions that already have the infrastructure and experience in refugee education, Ronaldo's initiative will be able to make a lasting, meaningful impact on the lives of displaced children, ensuring that they have access to the quality education they deserve. This collaborative approach will maximize the effectiveness of the fund and help create a global network of support for refugee students around the world. An essential element of the Global Education Fund for Refugees is the creation of pathways for career development and employment opportunities for refugee youth. While providing education is crucial, it is equally important to ensure that refugees can translate their education into tangible career prospects and financial independence. The ultimate goal of the education initiatives is not only to empower students academically, but also to help them build a future where they can support themselves and contribute meaningfully to society. To achieve this, the fund will work to create robust pathways that bridge the gap between education and employment, providing young refugees with the tools and networks they need to succeed in the workforce. The first step in creating these pathways will involve vocational training programs that offer practical, hands-on skills in high-demand sectors. Many refugees face challenges in accessing formal job markets due to a lack of recognition for their qualifications or gaps in their education caused by displacement. Vocational training can help refugees acquire the technical skills needed for specific jobs, such as in construction, healthcare, information technology, and the creative industries. These programs will be designed to meet the needs of both the local job markets in refugee-hosting countries and the industries where refugees are most likely to find employment opportunities. By offering vocational certifications or diplomas, the fund will enable refugees to enter the workforce quickly and with relevant, marketable skills. In addition to vocational training, the fund will focus on providing internships and apprenticeship opportunities that offer real-world experience. These opportunities will be critical for refugees to gain exposure to different careers, build professional networks, and develop soft skills such as communication, problem-solving, and teamwork. Internships and apprenticeships will be offered in collaboration with private sector partners, NGOs, and local businesses, creating a pipeline of potential employees for companies looking to hire diverse, skilled workers. This will not only benefit the refugees by providing them with valuable experience, but also help the businesses by offering access to a motivated and talented workforce. The fund will also prioritize entrepreneurship programs aimed at helping refugees start their own businesses. Refugees often face barriers to entering traditional job markets due to a lack of recognition for their qualifications or language barriers. Entrepreneurship provides an alternative pathway to economic independence, and by offering business development courses, microloans, and mentorship, the fund will equip refugees with the skills and resources needed to launch their own enterprises. These businesses can range from small-scale initiatives that serve local communities to larger ventures that may scale internationally. The goal is to encourage self-sufficiency, innovation, and long-term economic growth for refugee populations. To further enhance career development, the fund will establish career counseling services that help refugees explore career options, understand labor market trends, and navigate the complexities of job applications and interviews. These services will provide personalized support, helping refugees to develop professional resumes, practice interview techniques, and understand the requirements for different careers. In addition, the fund will connect refugees with job fairs, networking events, and online platforms that allow them to connect with potential employers. This will help bridge the gap between education and employment, providing refugees with direct access to job opportunities. Finally, the fund will build partnerships with multinational companies and organizations that are committed to diversity and inclusion in their hiring practices. By collaborating with these companies, the fund can create opportunities for refugees to work in global businesses, particularly in sectors like technology, finance, and healthcare. These partnerships will also focus on ensuring that refugees have the necessary support to thrive in professional environments, such as language training, workplace mentoring, and cultural orientation. By creating these pathways for career development and employment opportunities, the Global Education Fund for Refugees is not just offering refugees an education, but is also ensuring that their education leads to sustainable livelihoods and meaningful careers. This approach will empower young refugees to rebuild their lives, contribute to the economies of their host countries, and play a positive role in global society. The long-term vision is to break the cycle of poverty and dependence on aid, allowing refugees to become self-sufficient, independent, and active contributors to their communities. One of the key focus areas of the Global Education Fund for Refugees is the empowerment of refugee women and girls through education. Women and girls who are displaced by conflict or persecution often face unique and heightened challenges that can prevent them from accessing education. In many refugee settings, gender inequality is exacerbated by cultural, economic, and social barriers, leaving young women and girls at a disadvantage when it comes to educational opportunities. These barriers can include early marriage, domestic responsibilities, lack of safety, and limited access to gender-sensitive resources. Ronaldo's fund is committed to addressing these challenges and ensuring that refugee women and girls are given the tools, support, and opportunities they need to not only access education but also to thrive in it. One of the first steps in empowering refugee women and girls is ensuring safe spaces for learning. In many refugee camps and settlements, the lack of safety for women and girls, particularly in overcrowded environments, can discourage them from attending school or continuing their education. The fund will focus on establishing gender-sensitive education spaces, ensuring that schools and classrooms are safe, accessible, and conducive to learning for young girls. This includes providing separate facilities for girls, ensuring that schools have female teachers, and creating an environment where girls can participate freely and confidently in education without fear of harassment or violence. Additionally, the fund will prioritize scholarships and financial assistance specifically for refugee girls. Often, girls are the first to be pulled from school when families face financial hardships or displacement. In such cases, parents may prioritize education for their sons over their daughters. By offering scholarships for refugee girls, the fund will directly reduce the financial barriers that often prevent girls from attending school. These scholarships will cover not only tuition fees, but also other associated costs, such as uniforms, transportation, and school supplies, which may otherwise be out of reach for refugee families. The fund will also focus on providing gender-specific education programs that address the unique needs of female students. For example, sexual and reproductive health education, life skills training, and gender equality education will be integrated into the curriculum. These programs will equip girls with the knowledge they need to navigate the challenges they face, such as early marriage, gender-based violence, and health issues. By empowering girls with information and skills, the fund will help them make informed decisions about their lives and futures, which is crucial for breaking the cycle of poverty and inequality in refugee communities. Moreover, the fund will address the need for mentorship and leadership development for young women. In many cultures, women and girls face limitations in terms of leadership opportunities and career prospects. By providing mentorship from women leaders, professionals, and role models, the fund will inspire refugee girls to pursue careers and leadership roles in various fields, such as business, education, politics, and technology. Through mentorship programs, girls will gain confidence, build networks, and receive guidance to help them set and achieve their personal and professional goals. This empowerment will not only benefit individual girls, but also contribute to the broader social change needed to address gender inequality within refugee communities. Additionally, the fund will work to raise awareness about the importance of educating girls within refugee communities and among local authorities. In many cases, education for girls is not prioritized, and families may not understand the long-term benefits that education can bring to their daughters and to society as a whole. By conducting community outreach programs and partnering with local leaders, the fund will work to shift attitudes and behaviors, ensuring that families understand the importance of keeping girls in school and supporting them in pursuing higher education or vocational training. Finally, the Global Education Fund for Refugees will support refugee women and girls in overcoming obstacles related to early marriage and gender-based violence. In many refugee communities, girls may be married off at a young age due to economic hardship or cultural practices. Education provides a powerful tool to delay marriage and open up a range of opportunities for girls, including better health outcomes, financial independence, and the ability to make choices about their futures. The fund will work with local organizations to prevent early marriage and combat gender-based violence, ensuring that girls are protected from harmful practices and have the freedom to pursue their education. By focusing on empowering refugee women and girls, Ronaldo's fund is addressing a critical area of need within displaced communities. Education has the potential to transform the lives of refugee girls, enabling them to break free from cycles of poverty, violence, and inequality. Through scholarships, safe learning environments, mentorship, and gender-sensitive programs, the Global Education Fund for Refugees will help girls realize their full potential, become leaders in their communities, and contribute to the development of their societies. Empowering girls is not only a fundamental human right, but also a powerful strategy for sustainable development and social change in refugee communities. An integral component of the Global Education Fund for Refugees is the promotion of mental health and well-being for refugee students. Refugee children and young people often face tremendous psychological challenges as a result of their experiences: displacement, loss of family members, exposure to violence, and the trauma of living through conflict. These traumatic experiences can have long-lasting effects on their mental health, including symptoms of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and behavioral issues. Unfortunately, in many refugee settings, there is little to no mental health support, and the stigma surrounding mental health issues can further prevent children and their families from seeking help. Ronaldo's fund aims to address this gap by providing comprehensive mental health services, creating supportive environments, and promoting emotional resilience among refugee students. The first step toward addressing mental health will be the integration of mental health support into schools and educational programs. Teachers, staff, and administrators will be trained to identify signs of mental health distress, such as withdrawal, aggression, or difficulties in concentrating, which may indicate that a student is struggling with trauma. This training will also equip educators with basic skills to offer emotional support and create a classroom environment that fosters emotional well-being. By embedding mental health awareness into the educational setting, the fund will ensure that students receive immediate attention and support before their challenges escalate. Furthermore, the fund will introduce specialized psychological counseling services in refugee schools and learning centers. These services will provide individual and group counseling sessions for students dealing with trauma, grief, and stress. Professional counselors and mental health workers trained in trauma-informed care will be available to work directly with students, providing them with the tools they need to process their emotions, cope with difficult experiences, and rebuild their sense of security and stability. These counselors will also work closely with families to ensure that mental health support extends beyond the school environment, addressing the needs of the whole community. To promote broader well-being, the fund will also offer psychosocial programs designed to help students build emotional resilience and coping strategies. These programs may include art therapy, play therapy, and mindfulness exercises, which are all proven to be effective in helping children express their feelings, reduce stress, and improve mental health. Group activities such as peer support groups can also play a role in helping students feel less isolated and more connected to others who may have gone through similar experiences. These programs can help to reduce the stigma around mental health by normalizing the conversation about emotional well-being and providing students with a healthy outlet for expressing themselves. In addition to individual counseling and group programs, the fund will work to build community-based mental health networks within refugee camps and settlements. These networks will connect students and their families with local mental health services and resources, helping to create a more comprehensive and sustainable support system. By involving local leaders, community health workers, and NGOs that specialize in mental health, the fund will ensure that mental health support is accessible, culturally sensitive, and integrated into the fabric of the community. This community-centered approach will also work to reduce the stigma surrounding mental health issues, encouraging more refugees to seek help and support when needed. Another important aspect of the mental health initiative will be the development of educational materials and resources focused on mental health. The fund will provide teachers and students with age-appropriate materials on coping strategies, emotional expression, and stress management techniques. These resources will help normalize the experience of mental health challenges and offer practical tips for students to manage their emotions and improve their mental well-being. Additionally, the fund will work with local media and community organizations to raise awareness about the importance of mental health and encourage a supportive and open environment for discussing mental health issues within refugee communities. Recognizing that mental health is integral to academic success, the fund will also address the broader impact of mental health challenges on education. Trauma and emotional distress can make it difficult for students to concentrate, complete assignments, or engage fully in the classroom. By providing mental health support, the fund will help students improve their focus and motivation, leading to better academic performance. Moreover, addressing mental health early on can prevent more severe issues from developing later in life, leading to long-term benefits for the individual and society. Finally, the mental health initiatives of the Global Education Fund for Refugees will work to create a culture of support and resilience within the refugee community. By promoting mental well-being alongside education, the fund aims to break the cycle of trauma that many refugee children experience. It is not only about addressing the immediate psychological needs of these students, but also equipping them with the emotional skills they need to rebuild their lives, pursue their dreams, and become active participants in their communities. Ultimately, by prioritizing mental health and well-being, the fund will ensure that refugee students have the emotional resilience and support they need to succeed academically and personally. Addressing mental health is a critical part of giving refugee children the opportunity to thrive in a new environment and build a positive future despite the hardships they have faced. By integrating mental health care into the educational experience, Ronaldo's fund is providing a holistic approach to supporting refugee youth, helping them heal, grow, and develop the skills they need to lead fulfilling lives. A key innovation of the Global Education Fund for Refugees is its use of technology to enhance remote learning and expand educational access for refugee children and young people. In refugee settings, especially in conflict zones or remote camps, traditional education infrastructure may be lacking or severely disrupted. With limited access to physical schools, transportation issues, and instability, technology can provide a powerful tool to bridge the gap in education, offering an opportunity for students to continue their studies regardless of their location. By leveraging technology, Ronaldo's fund will ensure that refugees, especially those in hard-to-reach areas, are not left behind in their pursuit of education. The first step in leveraging technology will involve the development of digital learning platforms tailored to the needs of refugee students. These platforms will provide access to a wide range of educational materials, including interactive lessons, video lectures, and digital textbooks. By creating content that is accessible offline, the fund will ensure that even students in areas with limited or no internet connectivity can benefit from these resources. This is particularly crucial in refugee camps or rural regions where internet access is sparse, but smartphones or low-cost tablets are more common. Offline resources will allow students to access educational content at their own pace, helping to overcome the challenges of physical infrastructure and location. In addition to digital learning platforms, the fund will focus on mobile learning as a key component of its technology-driven approach. Refugees often rely on mobile phones as their primary access point to the internet, and by developing mobile-friendly educational applications, the fund can reach a wide audience. These apps can include features such as quizzes, interactive lessons, and educational games that engage students while reinforcing critical concepts. Mobile learning will be particularly important for young refugees who may need to study on the go or in situations where access to traditional educational settings is limited. Mobile platforms can also support language learning, allowing students to learn local languages or international languages like English, which is often a key to finding better employment opportunities. Another focus of the fund's technological approach will be virtual classrooms that connect refugee students with teachers and peers, regardless of their physical location. Through video conferencing platforms and online tutoring sessions, students can receive direct instruction, ask questions, and participate in discussions. This model can be especially beneficial for older students who may have missed formal education for years due to displacement or conflict, as it provides them with a structured learning environment that they can access remotely. Virtual classrooms can also enable refugee students to connect with their peers from other countries or regions, fostering cross-cultural exchanges and broadening their perspectives. To complement these efforts, the fund will work with technology partners to ensure that refugee students have access to the necessary hardware and internet connectivity. In many refugee communities, access to technology and the internet is not guaranteed, and students may lack the devices needed to access digital education. By collaborating with tech companies and telecommunications providers, the fund will provide tablets, laptops, and internet data packages to ensure that students can access educational resources. Special attention will be paid to ensuring that devices are durable, affordable, and designed to withstand the tough conditions often found in refugee camps. The fund will also invest in the training of teachers and facilitators to effectively use digital tools in their classrooms. While technology can enhance learning, it is important that teachers are equipped with the skills to integrate it into their teaching practices. Professional development programs will train educators to use digital platforms, create interactive content, and manage virtual classrooms. This will ensure that the use of technology is not just a supplement to traditional education, but is integrated into the daily learning experience, providing teachers with the skills they need to teach effectively in the digital age. Additionally, the Global Education Fund for Refugees will incorporate adaptive learning technologies into its educational programs. Adaptive learning platforms use artificial intelligence to personalize the learning experience, adjusting the pace and difficulty of lessons based on a student's progress. This approach is particularly beneficial for refugee students who may have had interruptions in their education and need a flexible, tailored approach to catch up on missed content. Adaptive learning can help address the wide variation in educational backgrounds among refugee students, ensuring that each child receives instruction that is aligned with their specific needs and learning style. Beyond academic education, the use of technology will also focus on life skills and vocational training. Through online courses, webinars, and virtual workshops, refugees can gain important skills that are vital for employment and independence, such as digital literacy, business management, coding, and financial literacy. This will equip refugees with the tools they need to find work, start their own businesses, or continue their education in higher education institutions or vocational schools. Finally, the Global Education Fund for Refugees will use technology to monitor and evaluate educational outcomes. By collecting data through online assessments and learning management systems, the fund will track the progress of refugee students and measure the effectiveness of its educational programs. This data will help identify areas where students are excelling and where they may need additional support. Furthermore, it will allow the fund to adjust its programs and ensure that the education provided meets the evolving needs of refugee students. In summary, the use of technology will be a transformative tool in the Global Education Fund for Refugees, providing displaced children with the opportunity to access quality education despite the barriers posed by displacement, geographical location, and infrastructure challenges. By developing digital learning platforms, mobile applications, virtual classrooms, and providing necessary technology and training, the fund will ensure that refugee students have the resources they need to succeed in the modern educational landscape. With technology, the fund can bring education to the doorstep of refugee communities and provide young people with the skills they need to rebuild their lives and pursue their dreams.